even tobacco, some smokiness. Hey everyone, it's Jay Carragay here, coming to you from our new kind of studio-ish. And but anyway, so I was sitting around the other day and I was ordering product for the shop, right? And so we're ordering a bunch of product, and I saw this item that I had never really used before or tried. I've seen it. I mean, it came out like maybe 3 years ago, so it's been out for a little while, but I've never actually used it. So I decided that I was going to order it. And finally, it's arrived. So I got it from Sweet Maria's. So let's see what's inside. We're going to do a little unboxing. Remember to cut away from you. Don't cut towards you, because you're like me, you'll cut into your tummy. And that's why I wear black shirts, because if I cut into my tummy, then I don't have to worry about the bleeding so much. All right. Let's see what they got here. Ah, look. A little card. Coffee, green roasted. Very nice. Green to roasted. Packing slip. Packing peanuts. How to get it out without spilling the peanuts. Good. Now we've got just a box, pretty nondescript, made in China, as is everything. Let's open it up and see what it comes with. Huh. So this is the plunger. So stainless and rubber. I think it's rubber. Maybe it's rubber. There we go. So stainless and rubber plunger. Needs to be a little bit loose, so it needs to tighten up a little bit. So there it is. And then the body. Nice. Oh, and there's a booklet. So we got the cup thing, glass, and a plunger. Well, that's supposed to go in just like that. Right? All right. And we've got our Rattleware Cupping Brewer book. And it comes in multiple languages. Kaffee vegan, abschaffen, economiser la surface, no. So German, French, pese el café, that's Spanish, abschaffen, German, French, Spanish, and English. Okay, so it comes with directions, and one of the things about this brewer is, especially now that COVID has basically changed the world. This, I think, will come in more into play now with cupping in larger group settings. So, for example, in the coffee industry, we do this thing called cupping, where we're actually tasting and evaluating the coffee, and we use an open cup method. So basically, you're taking an open cup, have the coffee sample in, and then everybody is slurping from the same cup. Not very good for, preventing virus transmissions of COVID. So the idea behind this was to make it a little bit more of a sanitary experience of tasting coffee. And so with that in mind, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a head-to-head comparison with this new way of cupping coffee and the old school way. Let's just make... Okay, we've got now our cups, our cupping cups. These are just basic cupping cups. These are about, 9 ounces or so. Cupping spoons. I did get the fancy ones that I have because I don't really use them normally, so I thought that I would use them now. And then we've also got a timer and everything set up, and we've got some coffee. So today's coffee is one of my own. It's from a place in the Philippines called Miorayan in the Bukidnon province of Mindanao, the island of Mindanao. And we work with a bunch of farmers called the Talandig. And the Talandig, they're really very indigenous tribal farmers, and it's really an amazing story. They have to climb from the roadway. It's like a 2-3 hour hike to their plots where they cultivate the coffee trees and then bring it back. It's really an amazing story, and we've really been able to get them to make some beautiful coffees for us. And this was the last release, the KALASAN 2019, and I got some of that here. That's what we're going to use for our cupping here today as a comparison, because what we're really looking to see is how similar will this Rattleware brewer mimic the coffee experience. So they say now we need to have 30 grams of coffee, 30 grams, there we go, 30 grams. We need a medium grind. So grind that up. Now, while that's grinding, I've measured out another 13 grams of coffee because that's what we're going to use in this glass. Okay, good. Now we'll take this coffee, medium grind, put it into the Rattleware. Now, as you can see, it's got a kind of hourglass shape, so you want to make sure that all the coffee goes into the lower portion, I think. All right, now we've got that. We're going to use the same grind setting for the other coffee. Great. Now we'll put that in this cup. Now, with all that out of the way, we're going to take... Oh, better move the doggy. I mean, our cat. All right, so now we've got our Rattleware and our regular cup. And we need a timer. We're going to need to set for 4 minutes. Well, we're going to need to start counting up. We want to have 4 minutes. For this, we're going to use the scale. And that's because Rattleware's instructions say 500 grams. So we're going to start that 500 grams, making sure to saturate the coffee completely. That should come pretty far up the top here. We're going to start our timer as well. 450. There we are, 500. And now we're going to add water to our regular cup. Just to the brim. We're going to need some water for rinsing. All right, now we just need to wait. Also, now we're going to smell the aroma from the, as it's wet. They're pretty similar. Some wood tones, some cacao, some... But the idea behind this Rattleware is that it's going to promote more hygienic cupping and tasting of coffee for industry people. And then for the home user, if you want to use this, this is supposed to give you the most similar brewing experience to what the cupping is. So, you know, when we're buying coffees out in the world, we're actually tasting the coffees mostly like this. And usually there's multiple samples and you're tasting the coffee. But of course, you know, what's happening here is that the coffee is in the cup, right? The coffee is in here. Some of it's floating at the very top, and the rest is kind of falling, and it's just steeping. But it's not really doing anything. Like in other brewing methods, pour over, we're actively engaging it with the water, so it's constantly being flushed through. The French press is kind of similar, but at the end you're plunging it, so you're getting all this turbulence, and you're getting a lot of suspension of the coffee particulates. And of course, AeroPress or something even like espresso, you're actually pressurizing the coffee, and that changes the way it tastes as well. So at the 4-minute mark, in the cupping world, we would actually take our cupping spoon and then we would what's called break the crust. We would actually use the spoon to break the coffee that's floating on top. At the same moment that we break it, we would inhale through the nose really, really hard. And you really want to get close. Like you see cupping people, and if it's on the table, they're bent over and the nose is all in it, and you know, people are like, if you get coffee on your nose, you're doing it right. So again, not the best way to prevent transmission of viruses. Your nose going into a cup, that's probably not good. All right, we're now past the 4-minute mark. We will do that. I'll bring it a little bit closer. We always rinse between uses. So far so good. There's some nice like floral characters, some sweet aromatics, and those are both present in the Rattleware as well as the regular cup. Okay, so now we have got coffee floating at the top of both vessels. We're going to scoop using these 2 spoons, and we're just going to scoop that all out. Scoop out as much of the scum as you possibly can. And then rinse between the 2 before scooping out the rest. Typically, people wait after the break and all of this. People will wait usually about 6-7 more minutes to let the coffee cool down in temperature. Mainly that's to prevent scalding of the palate, and just increases the enjoyment of the coffee and makes it easier to evaluate. I sometimes will go in a little bit hotter. Like right now we're at about 8 minutes. So I'll have a little bit of taste just to gauge. So I'm just going to take a little bit. Yeah, still kind of hot. And in a typical cupping situation, you're going to cup the coffee and over a long period of time, at least half an hour, to see how the coffee changes as it falls in temperature, right? So basically a coffee that's hot kind of tastes different as it cools, and sometimes you find much more interesting flavors in the lower temperatures. Also because, you know, your palate is better, has better reception of flavors in the lower temperature range. All right, we're coming up on 10 minutes. Let's have a taste and see how the coffee's doing. Still a bit on the hot side. All right, but what we're going to do is we're going to take the plunger and we're going to seat it into the cupper. So as you can see, there is the part here where it is, you know, the hourglass shape. So the plunger fits in there and prevents the grounds from, well, ideally what's really happening is that the grinds, all the grinds have fallen down into this lower chamber. That's the theory. And so the sloping sides here encourage the coffee grounds to fall into the hole and into the pit of despair. So what we're going to do is we don't want to, you know, mess that up. We don't really want to release all the sediments back into it, because the idea is that we want to get it without the sediments. So we have to take our plunger and go very gently. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in kind of like a hook to gently enter the liquid, and then hopefully find its way into the hole. Yeah, there we go. Good. Now, what the directions also say is that when you pour it, you're supposed to hold the plunger in place because it will fall out. And once it falls out, then all the grounds and sediment escapes, and it's just a madness and terrible experience. So we're going to pour that into here. All right, good. So it looks like we could get about 2 cups of this. I'm going to put them side to side. Can you see that? Comparatively, the amount of solids, sediments that are inside both cups, you know, just to the naked eye looks very, very similar. So they should, you know, it looks like they found a way to make similar results for a cupping like setting. And the nice thing about this is that I can now, if I hold this plunger in place, I can pour this. I don't have to pour a 9-ounce serving. I can pour an 1 ounce, 1 ounce, 1 ounce, 1 ounce, or whatever amount that I want. And that will allow a group of people to taste the exact same coffee pretty much in the same way, so that it's more even evaluation. All right, so we're now 13 minutes into it. Yeah, pretty much the same flavor profile. I believe the ratios are a little bit different. I think this one at 13 grams for 9 ounces is a little bit heavier than the 30 grams to 500 grams. It's not a tremendous difference. It's a slight difference. There's slightly more body in the way that I prepared this one than the Rattleware, but really that's really just a matter of finding the ratio that you want to use for evaluation, and you can apply that to this. And so, at the end of the day, I mean, what we're looking for is to see how well will this Rattleware cupping brewer match the traditional method of cupping. You know, can it be a solid replacement, especially now in the time of COVID, when we're going to be concerned about the virus transmission? But I'm sure we may get back to it. It'll be a little bit more restrictive. But I think that this could be a great way to get around that. And, you know, for those of you who are at home and you want to have another way to brew, this could be a great contraption to use. It's especially if you want to get the experience of what professional cuppers like myself and everyone else are experiencing without having to go through the rigmarole of this, then I think it could be a great tool to use at home. Even just to make, you know, a fun cup of coffee, a clean cup of coffee at home. And so the only thing that I have to wonder about is how difficult will it be to wash? Well, I guess that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. If it's first time subscribing, ring the bell so that you'll get all the notifications. This time we're actually doing a joint broadcast or podcast, vlogcast, whatever this is, a joint video for my personal channel, Ono Coffee, as well as the Spro Coffee channel. And what else is there to say? So whichever channel you're watching, please subscribe. Love to have you. Also, you know, like the video and drop on your comments. If the comments and likes really helps to position our videos higher. We'd like to be higher and get more viewers and you know, spread the love of coffee around more. Also, you know, I know a lot of YouTubers are doing things like Patreon and all of that. Well, we don't do it. I don't do any of that. Mainly because, you know, we're doing it for the love of coffee. We're enjoying the coffee. And also, if you really want to support us, you know, come to our website, sprocoffee.com. Buy coffee from us. We're not trying to sell you any services. We're not trying to sell you anything else. Just great coffee for you to take to be sent at home and have at home. And if this does well, we'll even have these Rattleware brewers on the site in a week or so, or maybe by the time this video comes out. And yeah, so we'll have this available as well for you to try. And yeah, so come and give us if you want to support the channel, buy coffee. You'll get to enjoy it for yourself at home. So that's about it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Really great. Really glad you all came to watch. All right. See you next time. How difficult is it to clean? So we're going to take the Rattleware and we're comparing it to the regular cup. Typically with the cupping thing, I can just swirl it around, dump it out, and voila, empty. Okay, pretty easy. Now the Rattleware. So it's got a little bit of sediment here. We'll just rinse that out. Now, I don't think I can get the spoon. Oh yeah, I can get the spoon in so I can get a little bit of agitation and then pour it out. So that's, most of it has come out. There's still some here at the bottom. So we'll rinse that out a little bit more. So here's a bit of a problem. You can't really get into the bottom with this sponge.
So that's a little bit of a buzzkill. That's a bit problematic.
So the concern there is that, you know, since you can't really get in here, except maybe with a scrubber, yeah, you could kind of get a bottle brush kind of in there, so that's not too bad. But the difficult thing is going to be that maybe after time there'll be some residue buildup here. Like actually you can kind of see it. If you look closely here, it's pretty clear versus there where I'm not really able to scrub. So that's kind of a concern. Is it enough to disqualify it? No, I don't think so. I think it's still a nice brewer. But just something to be aware when you go to use it. Nice and clean.